What about it, YouTube? All right, just occurred to me a couple of things. Uh, forgive me, but a couple of people have been using this word. Count Slappy says on his videos, everyone will betray you but me. And then uh, Putin was just asked, what's something you can't forgive someone for? And he said betrayal. So this word betrayal started to turn in my mind a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? That's just it. That's just it. Everyone has sort of lost their uh, gumption when it comes to not accepting betrayal in their life, right? It's like besides something physical that someone does to attack you, that's the worst thing that I can think of that someone can do is betray you. That and offer up false accusations. But in our personal lives, just in relationships in the dating market itself, it's nothing but betrayal from start to finish. It's betrayal. It's who's going to betray the other one first. That it's like a race to the bottom, right? And then moving on to the workplace. How many how many guys at work have got a woman fired or demoted with claims false accusations of sexual harassment? How many times does that happen? Is there any kind of stat on that? And then furthermore, how many guys have put a woman in prison with false accusations of rape? So that's just in our normally defined gender back and forth in relationships. That's just on that level. Think of all that betrayal that goes on there. That's just accepted. That right? HR, whoever it is, they're gonna oh really, and there's gonna be a star chamber investigation, and they're gonna demote or transfer or fire the dude, but nothing's gonna happen to the chick because they have these anti-retaliation things, right? So she can say whatever she wants, and it's guilty before anybody even cares if you're innocent. That's just how that goes. And then in your personal life, you could be married, you could have kids, not even know if they're yours. You could be having your next kid, go to the hospital, it comes out a mixed race, right? Just completely destroys you on so many levels, right? The ultimate betrayal. And what's the consequence? She's going to get child support for the kids that she can prove are yours, maybe, and half your stuff or whatever. I mean, there's no consequence for that. The ultimate betrayal. And so we're taught to just accept this, that people can't be trusted, expect them to betray you, and this is life. And the only reason that I guess it goes on like this is because society has turned into a narcissistic, solipsistic pot of shit, right? That's it. Like, I'm not saying everybody, obviously, there's not everybody involved, but too many people. Too many people operate on that level. And there's not enough people saying, no, we're done with this, man. We want laws. We want something that stops this. Because if it's allowed at this level, obviously it's going to be allowed at every level. Obviously your government's going to be able to betray you and lie to you every step of the way. And they have. They have betrayed us, the country, for pretty much their history. As far as I can think back, there's evidence that significant things were lied upon, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. I mean, I don't care if you're talking about 9/11 or moon landings or what. I mean, okay, it's just like lie, 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 lie. And meant to gaslight you all the way, right? So anyone anyone that cares about having ethics and morality and having a standard, they're just being gaslit to an nth degree by all of these things. And it's gone all the way to, I mean, we have a government who has agencies whose mission statement is to betray the American people, like the ATF, right? Like the IRS. And maybe, I don't know, NSA, CIA, the Department of Homeland Security. What have they done for you lately that is a good fruit? That hasn't drug you into some kind of conflict overseas, that hasn't poisoned your air with some kind of right? Vapor trail. Yes, vapor. Vapor just lasts in the air forever in a straight line after it leaves an air. I'm a kid and it's all disappearing, but now it's different. And oh, on some days they do it, and some days they don't. So it's just amazing how, you know, and different altitudes and but scientifically somehow it's just a natural occurrence. I mean, I don't want to get off on one thing, but it's just like lie after lie after lie after lie. Oh, and you're bad because you have a lawnmower, right? I mean, why? It wouldn't be bad if they would just be honest and say, you know what, the smog and the air quality is something that we want to try to address. I mean, that makes sense. Have you been to San Bernardino? That makes sense. But no, no, no. It's you need to. It's carbon emissions and climate change, and you got to get into a global. You know, how much carbon emissions have you used today? Your carbon output's too high today. Have you got your vaccine passport? This is all allowed to go on because people won't put their foot down and say we're done being betrayed. I don't care who you are, we're done being betrayed. And the next thing that needs to be said is betrayal is now punishable like murder. It's on the same level. I don't care who it is. Your wife and the mixed baby, she might as well be facing a first degree murder charge when she gets out of the hospital. Your government, I mean, Biden's allowed to just say it. Oh, I sold state secrets and other stuff. He's allowed to just say that. I mean, his son can, right? So the criminality, the gaslighting, the government, all the hearings, nothing ever gets solved, nothing ever gets done. It's just, oh yeah, just a pretend show, right? It's like the doctors or the counselors and the lawyers, they get you and your wife, in a room after she's betrayed you with a kid, and they, oh, you know what, that was really, really wrong, and that was really, really bad, and you shouldn't have dang done that. And then at the end of it, she goes right back to having sex with Tyrone, and you're told to just sit down and shut up because we had the hearing on it. All right, so that's my video, is betrayal. If people got serious about the effects of false accusations and betrayal, then a lot of stuff would be solved. So in that, you'd have to address all of the different avenues that employs. Okay, so lies need to be squashed. That doesn't mean you have the Ministry of Truth tell you what a lie is. That means that propaganda is not allowed in the United States. That if you can't come up with a source besides your rear end, you better shut up. That means if you're going to complain about somebody or criticize somebody, you better have some facts behind it. That means if you're about to have a baby, it better come out with the right DNA. That means if you're running the country, then you better be running it for the good of the people. Because if we find out you're running it for some other dang reason, sedition, betrayal, treason, you're out. And guess what? It's just like murder, punishable by death. If we can find a good enough reason, that's where it can climb to, right? Or at least 20 years or 30 years or whatever. Because we don't need you on the streets. If you can't act right on any kind of level and be trusted, we don't need you on the streets. God bless.